But why don't we kick off and remind people where you've come from, what the background is, and why you're finding yourself in a position today by giving them a sort of 1 minute overview, please.
Yeah. So Neometals is a project developer. We use innovation essentially to develop industrial minerals and advanced material projects for a sustainable future. And so we targeted the EV and energy storage thematic, almost 10 years ago, and we went out and procured a lithium project, and we developed that into what is now currently the world's second largest hard rock source of lithium. We exited that project. We retained offtake from the lithium mine. And so we've got a number of projects that, are not really upstream. There's a slight pivot away from the upstream traditional hard rock mining into further downstream processing. So we're looking at, a lithium hydroxide refinery. Obviously, the lithium battery recycling project is our main project. That's taking the lithium batteries at the end of their life. We've got the Barrambie titanium vanadium project, which is an upstream asset. They've been working on a downstream processing technology, and this latest agreement with Critical Metals to look at recovering vanadium, essentially recycling a slag product from steel making, is consistent with that pivot away from upstream, and also in terms of recycling and I guess becoming more sustainable.
Okay. Now, again, I just want to, before we kind of get into the detail of it, I want to, again, if you get your help to remind people, because we look at your business model and we think it's really attractive. It's kind of unusual. There's very few people approaching this the way that you do, because we get a lot of people coming on the show telling us about what they're going to put into a battery. And you guys are saying, well, actually, there's, you still got to deal with stuff, after batteries are made. There's you've got your battery recycling project as well, which we've talked about on previous occasions. But can you give us insight into your business model? Because you've got a lot of cash from the Marion deal, but you're spending it frugally by doing this project generator model. So give us an idea of what that looks like.
Yeah, certainly. So first of all, we identify a thematic that we want exposure to, which is the energy storage thematic and electric vehicles. That then drops down the commodities within that thematic that will be most impacted in a positive way. And so what then we do, we either acquire an opportunity in M&A, or we develop one internally. So the lithium battery recycling technology was to develop a process to take these batteries at the end of life. We realized that we could see the lithium battery plants being built. We could see the volumes of lithium batteries that would ultimately hit the market. We knew statistically about 10% a production or a scrap in the production process, and that they have an effective life of 7, 8, 10 years. So there was going to be the opportunity for these significant volumes of essentially, which is an amalgam of lots of battery minerals or battery commodities all together, and that currently they're either being melted at poor recoveries or put into landfill, and that's not sustainable. So we developed that internally. So what we try to do is identify the opportunity, secure it, build the value in terms of the metallurgical test work to prove our advantages, our low cost nature, our high recoveries. And we take the risk there. Then we do the engineering studies, and then what we like to do is to bring in big partners to commercialize these at the optimum scale, which is quite often beyond companies our size. Now, we have a fantastic balance sheet, but we're not going to roll the dice and put all of it into one project. And so what we did with the lithium project, we acquired the lithium project. We took the risk with the drill bit and made it bigger. Then we did the test work. We were able to capture a multi-billion-dollar company to build the world's largest hard rock lithium concentrator with no upfront capital. We then took that as a package to the world's fastest growing lithium converter, Ganfeng, offered them to be a partner. We were able to ultimately build a plant 4 times bigger than we'd evaluated ourselves. We sold out on the way. We made $200 million out of a $3 million investment. And last Friday, we returned another $11 million, taking our total returns to shareholders to over $55 million over the last 5 years. So identify it, build it, monetize it, and return the value back to shareholders.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for that. Again, it's something that when we first came across you guys, we weren't quite sure, what you were, but after investigation, you look at dividend paying. That's a lot of dividend.
I can synthesize it for you. It's the highest return on invested capital in the shortest period of time.
Quite nice. I've got nowhere to go with that.
That's right. It's just arithmetic.
Just arithmetic. But the other component of that is that you spent $3 million to be able to generate that kind of return, and that seems to be, and I don't mean to sort of oversimplify this, but that kind of cookie cutter approach to what you're doing. I mean, it's what we've heard with the recycling story, and I think it's what we're about to hear now with the agreement with critical metals. So why don't we get stuck into the critical metals story agreement? So the announcement came out last week. In your words, tell us what it is that you've put together.
So essentially what we've procured with our partner Critical Metals is a call option to acquire what is the world's largest stockpile of high-grade vanadium slags. In that 27-month period, we're able to conduct our extensive due diligence, and that'll be in the form of a Class 5, a Class 4, a Class 3 engineering study, which will result in a feasibility study to be completed by 31 December 2022, at which point we'll consider a final investment decision. If we decide to go ahead, Neometals and Critical Metals will own 50-50 equally in an incorporated joint venture vehicle, which will have the certainty of a supply agreement from SSAB, which is the largest steelmaker in Scandinavia.
And how much will you have spent at that point to get to that point?
So we envisage that the total investment prior to FID will be around 5 million Australian dollars.
Okay, so it's kind of, it maintains that project generator feel. It's the same level of spend. What are your... Actually, let me start with, who is Critical Metals? SSAB, obviously, I think people will know, they're obviously huge, billion dollar industry, but who's Critical Metals in all of this?
So Critical Metals is an unlisted Australian public company. Neometals is the largest shareholder, owning approximately 15.4% of its issued capital. Critical Metals also holds a license for the Neometals lithium battery recycling technology, geographically limited to Scandinavia, so Sweden, Norway, Finland, and Denmark.
Right, and is this the first time? I mean, it's isolated to those countries. Is there scope to go beyond that at some point? I mean, I want to talk about scale in a second, but while we're talking.
Well, at this stage for the lithium battery recycling, we're entertaining going exclusively for the non-licensed jurisdictions with German engineer SMS Group.
Okay. Well, we'll come back to that another time. So you're talking about recycling high-grade vanadium-bearing steel from slag. Can you, again, just in terms of terminology, help people understand what the difference between tailings and slag is?
Sure. So in the steelmaking process up at SSAB's Luleå and Rahi and Oxelösund operations, they use iron ore and limestone in their smelting method, and so what is left is an iron-bearing calcium product. After they've tapped off the steel, and that goes in for further processing, the slag, so to speak, gets cooled in pits, and then when it's cooled enough, they break it, put it in trucks, take it to another site on their plant, crush it, screen it, scalp some of the iron, the discrete iron, and stick that back into the furnace. The rest gets stockpiled as what they call LD slag. LD is the steelmaking process that they use.
And what typically happens with this? I mean, I'm guessing there's going to be other people with other technologies which would process slag, right?
Well, look, occasionally these guys sell the little bits here and there for road base. but essentially there's nothing you can do with it. You know, what we'll be doing is taking a material that is stockpiled on these sites, recovering the vanadium, and actually changing its color from black to white, and actually making it safe to store.
So what's the problem you're solving for them? Obviously, it's a financial opportunity for you, you know, but you must be also in terms of remediation, etc.
So look, I think it does a number of things. Certainly, it removes visually a stockpiled black material from sites, and these steel mills are all adjacent to the sea, and you know, rendering them in an inert form that is safe for storage, either backfilling old pits or, you know, other applications. You know, you are providing a remediation service of sorts. It's obviously highly economic to do that in the process that we have developed.